How you doing, good sir?
I am doing well. How are you? Have you been out driving?
No, I haven't been driving. No driving.
Is that because you're constantly just talking to me, or what's going on?
Yeah, no. I wish it were that. I've been knocked down with the spiky cough. I've got COVID.
No.
Yeah.
You tested positive?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did. So
how are you feeling?
okay now. I got knocked on my ass for 3 or 4 days. But it's starting to come good now. But we have to isolate for 7 days, and so the wife and kids have to isolate as well. It's a real shit show. So hence, I must apologise to you and our listeners. It's entirely possible that my audio quality is going to be terrible. I'm locked in the bedroom area of the house basically for the entire week. So I've not left this space. Yeah, it's like being in a hotel. It has its advantages. I'm getting food delivered to me. I'm getting coffee brought to me. The first few days I felt like hell, but now I sort of feel largely pretty good, and yet I'm still stuck down here. So, it's kind of all right. I haven't quite hit the Linda Hamilton turn the bed up on its side and start doing chin-ups. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, someone's mowing the lawn across the road. So if you hear weird sounds during the pod.
So that's what happens when you've got COVID. Like you get to stay in your bedroom, you get to have food and coffee brought to you, and you can basically just sit around doing whatever you want. Yeah, I've got COVID. Yeah, Ruthie, I'm sorry. I tested positive.
Yeah, just, what you should do is head out this weekend, get yourself on a city bus and just like lick all of the handrails and the seats and stuff, or maybe an ATM or two. You pick it up pretty quick, probably along with dysentery to be fair, but still, yeah, you'll have a good time. It's well worth it.
You see, I'm a little bit more devious than that. I was just thinking about getting a Sharpie marker out and putting the second line on the test.
It was so frustrating because I woke up Wednesday and I'm like, oh man, I've so got COVID. I could just tell the symptoms were all very COVID-y. And but it took 2 days for me to get the positive test. Every time I was testing negative. And I'm like, come on, hurry up. Because the other thing is you got to isolate from when you get the positive test. So I wanted that test. I wanted it quick. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun. This is at least I know it's real now.
Yeah, I guess, it is real. You've got it, and hopefully the rest of your family don't get it. But I'm glad, you're doing all right.
Yeah. No, I'm good. If you'd spoken to me 2 days ago,
yeah,
I was. I had, I turned COVID into man flu 2 days ago.
I mean this with all the love in the world for you, brother. If you kick it, can I have your car?
That's an interesting question. Do you know what? No one else has asked me.
Really? No one cares enough.
No. Maybe no one else wants to sort of stop and consider the notion that I may fall off this mortal coil. But seeing as you have, and you've shown that initiative, which is admirable, sure, you can have my car.
Thank you. I like to think proactively. So with that, let's get going.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to Coburn Canyon. We're back. Another episode. Last week was great. I really enjoyed talking to Darren. I really enjoyed changing up the format. It was great having, like a 3-way conversation. I've listened to it a couple of times. I, will happily admit, just driving around all the time. I loved it. That was great. Did you enjoy it?
So much. And I've had some really positive feedback about it. So thank you to everybody who reached out. Same thing. And I know we said it last week, but Darren's such a chill guy. Great to talk to. And look at sort of, he to me is one of those people who feels, our idea behind the pod is really about, this is for the enthusiasts, right? And we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Darren's a person who very much produces something with the enthusiast in mind. So he was spot on, the right kind of guy to have on the show.
Yeah, totally. And hey, I don't want to make you jealous because it'll probably take 10 months to reach you. But I got my little present from Darren in the mail, like just yesterday.
No, same.
You did?
Mine's actually, it's arrived.
No way.
He's already sent it. It's sitting on my desk in my office. Obviously, I've been in isolation for a week, so I haven't been able to get there. But I suddenly had this UPS notification, and I was like, "Oh, I don't remember buying anything." And then I looked, and I was like, "Oh my god, FT Motorsport." A gentleman and a scholar, has to be said.
Total, and like completely showing me up, considering. How many months ago was it that I bought you those T-shirts from Loved and they haven't arrived?
Yeah. And so should we talk about that? You've given me a refund, right? Like that's how that's going to work.
I forgot you paid me for those.
Of course I did.
Mate, God, I'm so embarrassed now. Yeah, totally. I will give you a refund.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not your fault.
Jesus.
It's not your fault. I'll see you in a video wearing them and sort of be like, oh, that's what happened to them.
So this week, what's been going on with the world of Porsche?
Look, plenty. Do you know, I was just going to quickly say though, one of the things, just circling back to Darren real quick before we move on, we've got a bunch of really cool guests coming up, huh?
Yeah.
Will from Renthusiast is coming on to talk about. He's a fellow content creator, great dude. I've had a couple of conversations with him, and like a lot of these people that we meet in this sphere, you just end up chatting via Instagram or YouTube and becoming connected. And he and I ended up having a conversation about a month ago, and he's a really interesting dude. So I'm keen to talk about what he's going on. Who else we got? We got the one and only Drew Manley.
Dude, so excited. That is so cool.
Legend.
Yeah. I've been a big fan of Drew's ever since I got into the YouTube game. His channel was one of the first I came across. And the quality of his content, just how nice he was or is. Yeah. I'm really excited. And of course, I've got his posters all over my garage.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then we've got Sean from Ren 11 as well, who... I need to credit a little bit. The guy actually helped me come up with the name Last Rasp, so I owe him one.
So if those T-shirts ever get sent back to me, should I just ship them onto him?
Well, you've shown you sure as hell can't get them shipped to Australia, so you may as well.
And then we've also got Alex Farragut, who works for Soul Performance Products, but she's also a racer.
It's so cool.
She races 944s. She's got this awesome...
How cool is her car?
Oh, it's so good. Green, white, and black. And it seems that she's taken green, throughout her life. That seems to be her color. Clothes, like posts, everything. Yep. She's the green Porsche lady. She works in client relations for Soul Performance, and she races. She seems like a lot of fun. I'm really going to be interested to hear about her story. I mean, there are enthusiasts. There are people that show up to Cars and Coffee. And then there are people that actually race those cars. Like every week or every couple of weeks. And I'd love to be able to do something like that. And I still haven't yet tracked my car. 4 911s in, I haven't done it.
It's interesting, isn't it? What's that little switch that has to flick that takes you from, being an enthusiast, driving a car on the weekends, to then tracking it, to then deciding, you want to go that step further and not just track it, but, race it either in a time attack style format or wheel to wheel against other cars. Yeah. I don't have it in me.
I don't know. I think for me, my personality is I would hold off on something like that forever.
Yeah.
Maybe afraid of the unknown. And then if I did it once and I loved it, that would be the end of my savings. That would just be the end of my social life. I'd probably do it every weekend straight for 5 years and then be like, wow, I'm 50 now. It's just...
Yeah.
Because I see people get into it. And even friends here, one of my friends, Ben, he went along for a weekend with another friend called Ben. And within the space of a couple of months, he'd sold his Cayman to get a 911 so that he could go faster next time he went to the track. And he's now going back there to Brain at International Raceway with the group, 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, I can see it. Like he got bitten by the bug.
Yeah. I've done 2 track days, and I'll say I wouldn't say I've been bitten by the bug so much. I think I'll probably do maybe 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me. It's super exciting. It really points out very quickly. You work out where your deficiencies are really fast.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to go for a drive on a Sunday morning with some buddies and pat yourself on the back and, think you're Patrick Long. And then you get out on a racetrack and you're getting passed by someone in a Yaris or whatever, and you work out real quick that you've got a hell of a lot to learn. But you know what? From that perspective, it's a really good thing. And every time I've been to a track, I've come away with even some learnings that I've picked up, and that's without having seat time next to an instructor. And I think that's probably the next step for me, is to have somebody sit next to me and tell me what I'm doing wrong, or tell me how to pick lines better and stuff like that. But it is a great way to experience your car without worrying about. Well, you're in a controlled environment, right? Suddenly you're on a circuit. You're not worried about other motorists, police, trees, wildlife. You got space, and you can really truly exploit your car, which is super exciting.
What did your son think about it when last year when you guys went out there and you took him on a track day?
Yeah, that was awesome. Unfortunately, it was probably. It was great in that it was completely unexpected, and a big thanks to my buddy Jed, we just showed up to watch some mates who were there doing a track day, and we just got a couple of helmets thrown at us, and they said, "Here, go and do some laps," which was amazing. And I think that worked really well because my son didn't have time to think about it and maybe decide that he didn't want to do it or that he was anxious about it. But no, he loved it. He was just sitting there watching the speedo the whole time. He just wanted to see how fast we would go. Unfortunately, it's kind of a shorter circuit without any really long straights, and I wasn't hammering it by any stretch. I had my son in the car, so we took it somewhat easy. But no, he loved it. He absolutely loved it. We never got anywhere near pushing hard, to be honest. I think I probably would have gone harder in the 964 than I did in the 991. Because also it was my first couple of laps out, and we only did 5 or 6 laps. I'm always super cautious when I first get out on a circuit. Yeah, like I drive slow enough to drive Miss Daisy on my first session. So, but he loved it. He did. He really had a ball.
I've got to get out there. I've done.
Got to do it.
The track around, if you can even call it a track, around Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta, and a couple of straights, couple of turns, and that was enough to get me like super excited for it. And thankfully, the fever is boiled down a little bit, or cooled off, should I say, a little bit since doing that almost a year ago. But I know myself well enough to know that if I get into it, I'm gonna bankrupt myself chasing that, just like I chase project cars.
Do you know what, though? That could be a really interesting exercise to undertake in your 996. I think a great track car, because you're going to have that. We talk about it a lot, right? That mix of sort of analog, old-fashioned sort of driving experience, but with some modern-day tech and certainly some modern-day geometry and handling. I think a 996 is a great car for a track. And it might almost be that car, I don't know, maybe it changes your position on what you plan to do with it long term. Who knows? It'd be a great way to get out and give it a thrash.
No, I can't wait to get it back on the road. It's anticipation is like quite often fun, but it's also torture. It's torture.
It is.
I'm just like I'm like 2 weeks away from the engine arriving, and my chairs aren't ready yet. My seats aren't ready yet. My chairs. I can't stop saying it.
How's the sofa in the back? Is that okay?
The sofa's great. In fact, I'm surprised I didn't call my latest video chair belts instead of seat belts.
Okay, so I've got to talk about your latest video, because I just watched it. The blue belts look great, right? Like they've come up a treat. But it was really interesting to me, actually quite an inspiring video, because, as we've spoken about before, I need to go through the process of doing the interior on my 964. And I love how you've just taken this approach of looking at those items that are easily replaced, but gradually wear out over time, that typically we just sort of forget about, whether it's the seatbelt receptacles, or whatever you call them. The door sills, all these little plastic bits that just get worn over time that you just stop noticing and you kind of live with.
Yeah.
But they're the little 1%ers that really make a difference to the interior of the car.
Yeah, I think so. And it's also kind of fun shopping for those parts. You can't find them everywhere. And there are a couple of places I go to that usually sell them below MSRP. So, you feel like you're getting a bit of a deal. But it's really satisfying to take off like a door sill and put down a brand new one. And those seatbelt receptacles that I put in the back seat, it's incredible.
What a change.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it even made the seats look fresher, even though we didn't do anything to the seats, I'm really happy with those. So I got a whole host of stuff coming from Gowden Porsche Parts in Vegas. They're awesome.
Yeah, so good, great video. So yeah, thank you. You got my mind ticking about more things I can spend my money on. So well done.
A lot of people comment like that. You're very good at. Yeah, I'm very good at helping people spend their money.
Mate, everyone needs a talent. Everyone needs a talent.
I'm here for you, bud. I'm here for you. Well, speaking of spending money, a few weeks ago we were talking about the Bad Boys car. There's another famous Porsche that's up for grabs at the moment. You want to talk us through it?
Yeah, there is. This one's and these kind of cars come up every so often, right? Almost once every couple of months, there's one of these sort of cars. So it's a 1964 Porsche 904, which was actually once owned by Robert Redford, and that's about to go under the hammer. Now, this is a super successful race car, not this specific one, but the 904 was launched in 64 by Porsche, actually came first and second in the Targa Florio. Good result. Also came second in the Monte Carlo rally. So, one of these great racing Porsches. But it's an interesting one as an enthusiast. Yeah, where do you sit on cars like this that come up for sale? Is it something that for you get excited about? Is it sort of an interest point because it's Porsche? Like, do you know what I mean? Where do you sit on that? Because the Bad Boys car obviously was an exciting one because it's from popular culture. This is a racing car that was owned by Robert Redford. Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think I know so little about those kind of models that it's difficult for me to get excited about them. Like, if it was a 901, okay, I know enough about the 901. Yeah. It was the first 911 released, I think. Again, right. Very similar time frame, right? In 64-ish.
Welcome to another episode of Porsche History, your encyclopedic exploration of the brand with James McGrath.
James McGrath, who doesn't know too much about Porsche. But yeah, I know enough about the 901 and to get excited about it. I know that, the G-body was introduced because of American safety standards, and they added the bumper and the side impact bars and that sort of stuff. So I think because I know about the design, I know about the story a little bit, about how they were introduced, I would get more excited about those. The 904, I've seen a couple of times before, but I really don't know anything about it. So I can appreciate it for what it is, but, even if I had the money, I don't think I'd throw my money at it.
Yeah. Look, I'm a little bit the same. I've found that my interest would be piqued by 911 racing cars that come up.
Yeah.
And whether they're, STs or the like that have been raced or rallied in, there are these cars that have been run at Le Mans and then rallied as well. I think they're incredible. Porsche's, sport racing cars outside of the 911 space are always a little bit of a slightly different one for me. Yeah. I've found that as I've become more ensconced in the brand more broadly, that these cars have become of more interest to me. Mm-hmm. Cars like the 962, the 956, I wasn't really watching endurance car racing back in the 80s, so that whole Rothmans era doesn't mean a lot to me in terms of my connection with it. But on the flip side, as I've become more interested in the brand, I get really excited about those cars. And I actually went to an historic race meeting here where there was a 956 lapping around, and that was it it was awesome to see, and awesome to see that this car that was, running with other cars and seemingly a lot quicker than them all. I love the fact that it still had a Porsche badge on the front, and
nice.
That was kind of bragging rights. But yeah, to go to your point, I don't look at a car like this coming under the hammer and think, oh, if I had the money, there's one I'd get, because I just don't know what I'd do with it. And maybe that's the other thing as well, right? Like, we want to buy cars that we would want to drive.
Yeah.
Like, we're not collectors,
Yeah.
As much as we'd love to be. We sort of collect our stamp money and save up and hopefully buy a car that we can drive on the weekends, not the one that we might, occasionally put on a trailer and take to a track or brag about.
Yeah. But, I've got to say, though, looking at it, it is beautiful.
It's cool as, huh?
It's it looks like some kind of forest green or even British racing green.
It's Irish green.
It's Irish green. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's been many colours, though. It started, apparently it was silver. It's been blue. I want to know, though, what's interesting, and this is, we're quoting an article on Renlist here, is it doesn't actually say whether Redford ever raced this thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Robert Redford, whether he's a great wheelman, whether he's been a racer. Obviously Paul Newman, obviously McQueen, these sort of guys, we've heard about their period behind the wheel of race cars. But I didn't know Redford was a guy who was racing, if indeed he was.
Well, it looks like from the article, and again, you mentioned Renlist, it looks like he had it for a decade before selling it, which
he must have raced it.
Well, in today's world, keeping a Porsche for 10 years is actually quite a commitment.
It is.
I probably know more people that have flipped cars, every sort of 18 months to 2 years than keeping, like, if you're into it for a decade, you're like a proper owner. You're not in it for pretend.
Well, unless he bought it and then he was living overseas and it was just living in a garage for 10 years.
But, we were talking the other day about movies that Porsches are featured in. And
oh, my God.
Are you going to say it?
Spy Game.
Spy Game. That's right. He was driving that Porsche to and from Langley. Yeah. So
nice.
I'm now going to research that, because I wonder if that was his car. Isn't that a bit of a coincidence that he's a 904 owner and then he shows up in that mid-90s movie in a 70s Targa, I think.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's an F body. I don't think it's a G body. I'd need to watch it back. It's actually not a bad film. I like spy films.
Yeah, maybe something you can watch while you're in the bedroom for the next week.
Well, do you know what? Actually, I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again, and Margot Robbie driving the 911 through the streets of Hollywood. So cool.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently,
Porsche gave them that car to use. I watched the extras or whatever after I watched the film, and they talked about all the cars in the film. And they actually they approached Porsche directly, and Porsche said, well, hey, it's an anniversary year. So they basically threw 3 cars at them and said, pick one.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Wish they'd do that to me.
I know, right? Well, so this is like jumping ahead a little bit, and maybe we can wait for this, but we're going to start talking about our favorite video of the week, aren't we? There is so much Porsche content out there on YouTube. Some of the people we watch on YouTube get press cars. I want to know, how do we get press cars? You've had cars from your friends at
Porsche Minneapolis, though, right?
I've had loaners from Porsche of Minneapolis, and I've test driven a couple of cars, yes. But have they given them to me for a day to go doing donuts in the snow? No.
Yeah, no.
That's kind of what I want.
Yeah, no. Look, I agree. I asked the question once at Porsche Centre Melbourne. They put me in touch with their head of media, which I don't know whether she's responsible for press cars or not. I've never asked the question because, to quote George McFly, what if they say I'm no good? What if they say, get out of here, kid, you got no future? I just don't think I could take that kind of rejection. Look, I figure you got to be able to promise them something, right? And I mean, from my perspective, if I get any modern Porsche, I'm sure I'm going to get in it and just have my mind blown anyway. I've driven a 992. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I make review videos, I'm not really about. I'm no Henry Catchpole, right? I'm not about picking apart a car in the way that he might or a Chris Harris might. So I'm largely positive anyway. I figure I'm just a PR agent for Porsche, so surely there's something good in it for them if I make a video on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a try. Do you know what? Let's both commit to having a go at seeing if we can get a press car.
All right. The person who pulls one off first, like, wins some kind of prize. I don't know what the prize is, but
the other one has to buy them some T-shirts that will never arrive.
Easy. So the listeners can't appreciate this because they're just listening to us talking. Andy and I are actually sat here face to face on FaceTime, and we're looking at each other. Andy, next time we're on, I am going to hold up the one T-shirt that I didn't send you for fear of it getting lost in the post, and you're going to like it. We need to find a way to beam it to you, Star Trek style.
Well, just don't use. Look, we can. Again, compelling content right out of the gate, but let's use a courier. Let's use like a UPS. I mean, you know what? Clearly, Darren had some success with UPS.
He did. Yeah, he's shown me up. US Mail.
In fact, why don't you send it to him? Send it to Darren Pfister, and he can send it to me. All right? I think that'll work.
Oh, Darren, do a mate a favor. Just make sure you don't screw this up like I did. Yeah. I'm so embarrassed right now. Oh my God. Dear. But so back to that 904. I'm looking at it online, and I can appreciate it for what it is, but am I excited about it? No. Would I throw 50 grand at it or 500 grand at it? No.
50 grand? I would throw 50 grand at it, because then I'd be able to sell it for the mill. Well, yeah, because then it's going to, you'd be able to sell it.
Just purely from a business perspective, to buy it, to flip it. Yeah. Okay, if someone was stupid enough to sell it for $50,000, I would, but...
I'll tell you this, I'd love to have a go in one. I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think I've had a toy car version of this before, so maybe I can just live vicariously kind of through that memory of a 6-year-old that threw his cars around the garden. That'll do me.
Maybe.
That'll do me.
Now. Well, it'll be interesting to see what it goes for, huh?
Yeah. And is it in the US? I think it is. I imagine so.
I can't remember which auction house it is. One of the biggies.
One of the biggies, yeah. Have you ever been to an auction? Have you ever tried to buy something at an auction?
No, I haven't. We have these car auctions here that the sort of your second and third tier prestige dealers do, or they have these car auctions, and you just roll up, and the rumor is you get these cars at like 15-20% less than retail and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never been to one. I've walked through the yards on them, and there's always some interesting cars there. How about you?
Never face to face, but when I was researching the 996 for the project a couple of years ago, I was doing trying to do a lot of online car auctions. I didn't find what I wanted on eBay. Somebody put me onto a couple of websites that sell mainly salvage cars that have been in crashes, but also other cars. And I just found it utterly frustrating, because there were cars that you'd find, and while you were trying to figure out which one you wanted to put your money on, it sold. So you missed out. So you got to act quickly. And then hours later, I find the car that I want, and I've already registered, I've already signed up and created my account, and you try and place a bid, and it says you're not eligible to bid. And then you spend 10 minutes trying to figure out why you're not eligible to bid. And you're not eligible to bid because you're not a registered dealership, or you're not a, you're not an LLC. And therefore, so I just end up giving up. I was forget it. I'd rather pay 20% more to get a car than sit here pulling my hair out.
Well, and also to be able to go and actually look at a car, to PPI a car, to be able to do all of those things rather than in the heat of the moment throw an extra, $5,000 down just because you've committed and your ego wants you to win the auction. Mind you, I remember when collecting cars launched in this market, and the first Porsche that came up on collecting cars was 3-litre Carrera Targa, and it was such a great looking car. It was a dark silver with cork interior. It was beautiful, and it went so cheap. And
Really?
and me, my buddies, we're all watching that auction, going, oh, should we bid? Should we bid? And I couldn't believe the car sold, and I couldn't believe the car sold at that price. And this was only a year ago, I think a year ago. And it was crazy cheap, and even now I kick myself for not buying that car.
Oh.
Even if I'd held onto it for 6 months and flipped it, could have made some decent money. And very cool looking car.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of how we would fill our garages, how's your garage looking?
Yeah, pretty good. And I'm in the winter here, of course, in my side of the planet. Unlike you in the summer, and winter over here means you're bored and you start tinkering. And if I'm not working on my car, I'm out in the garage tidying my garage or cleaning my garage. And I think it's time to make some changes. I've been looking at getting some additional cabinets for the wall on the far side opposite where I keep my Porsche. I picked up a couple of new pictures from Drew at Cool Collective, so I'm going to change the wall around a little bit. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. And I feel like, there's just like basic things like I want to get those bikes off the wall so that I've got a nice, clean kind of background to make my videos. I need more storage space. I need to keep Ruthie happy by getting some stuff out of the way and up and around. But I even found myself the other night online configuring a new flooring system. Because I have that race deck flooring, and I got the red to tie in with the red that I was putting in my 991. now that I've got a blue 996 sat in there, I'm thinking, they should really be blue squares instead of red squares. Dude, it's incredible. You get bored in the winter, you can make some crazy decisions at 3:00 in the morning when you can't sleep.
Yeah, it's funny. How
about your garage?
Yeah, look, mine's we've spoken about my garage. I know.
Is it still full of stuff? And by stuff, I mean junk.
No, it's way better. It's come a long way, but we're going through this little state of flux. My wife is buying furniture for my kids' bedrooms at the moment, and we have this constant. It's like a revolving door of furniture in our house right now. There's furniture being delivered, furniture having to be taken out of the room and put somewhere else, and it's like, how much? What? Like every day there's another flat pack being delivered. I'm like, far out. So everything just keeps finding its way back into my garage as I'm trying to get stuff out of my garage. So that said, because I've done my garden shed install, I've got shelving in there now. A lot of things have been moved to the garden shed. So it's a lot better than what it was. But I've gone from thinking about the garage as, a great space where the car lives, to one that, look at the way you use yours, or the way, the way Will from Renthusiast uses his as almost like a studio, right? Where you can create content. And I don't have that option right now. And I live on a reasonably busy street. And the only way I can film with my garage is to be out on my driveway, which usually entails me looking left and right down the street to see if anybody's coming so I can quickly talk to the camera before somebody walks past walking their dog and says, "Hey, wanker, what are you doing?"
As only Brits and Australian would ever do. Hey, knobhead, what are you doing?
Yeah, 100%. So it's really embarrassing, and so I've started thinking about how can I consider my garage more like a studio space, and if I'm doing it that way, what do I want it to look like? And I'd found this amazing set of cabinetry that a buddy of mine has, and it turns out you can't get it anymore. And
Wow.
I'd become so obsessed with this one item of cabinetry that I couldn't get past it. I found other options which I think come out of the same factory in China anyway, but they're just different color combinations.
Yeah.
And now I'm up in the air about those. But it's slowly progressing. And once this furniture stuff's all done, I'll be able to throw myself into it properly, and it'll become part of a set, if you like, for my video content. So it's a slow burn, James, a slow burn.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a press car before I have a decent garage.
So it gets really hot in Australia, of course, during the summer. What's it like inside your garage? Like, could you work in there in the summer? Could you have the doors closed and use it as a studio? Would you just be melting?
No, it's okay. You definitely can. And what you don't want to do is be in there if you have driven your car, because if you've driven your car, then you back it in, and then that room you've just got this amazing little heater just sitting in there, right? Just heating up the space. So yeah, as long as you've not done that, you're fine. I think the advantage you've got over me is your garage is comparatively cavernous compared with mine. So, you talked about wanting bikes off the walls, for example. Well, I've moved bikes out to the garden shed, not just because it looks neater, but because literally I just don't have the space.
Yeah.
So, I'll be trying to do a setup that is one cabinet, a bit of a small shelving unit maybe, and then hopefully that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So all the junk is out in the shed.
Well, I hope you get there, mate.
I will. I'm committed.
I really enjoy getting out of the house and not going too far, just getting in the garage for a little bit of space. Although, I had a heater in there last year. I got an air conditioner in now. I took out the garage heater that was there originally so that my mini split system would act as a 2-in-1.
Yeah,
it is so cold in Minnesota at the moment that my heater won't operate because the elements and the box that sits outside the house is frozen shut. So my garage is so cold at the moment. I haven't really been able to spend a lot of time out there unless, I've got a crappy little heater plugged into the wall. So I'm feeling a little bit shameful.
It must be amazing there in summer, right? Like to want to live through those winters.
It is. I mean, it is a really great place to live, but there are definitely times when I just, question my sanity as to why anyone would want to live in a place that's colder than the Arctic Circle. There you go. Well, so let's introduce our new topic, our new segment of our podcast. It's our favorite YouTube video of the week.
That's it.
You're gonna get to pick this week's.
Yeah, video of the week. And do you know what? We might need, maybe we'll make some kind of video of the week, little
Carbon Canyon, the video of the week
thing we can play. We've not talked about this, just brainstorming live.
We should totally do that.
But we should do that. We should totally do that. Well, do you know what though? We talked about the reason for this is that, again, as car fans, as Porsche fans, I know I am, and I know you're the same. I constantly trawling YouTube looking for content, and whether it's there are certain videos that are on YouTube that I've watched 50 times. I mean, there's a Petrolicious video, The Minimalist, with a beautiful Tangerine 911, which I've watched so many times. So yeah, we thought every week let's throw up a piece of content which it may be new, it may have just dropped, or it may be like a classic that's buried somewhere that you haven't seen. We'd love to hear your thoughts via Instagram as well on what videos you're liking at the moment. But our first one is from the fantastic Cars with Luke. He's just dropped a new vid. Speaking of press cars, he's been given the 992 GT3 Touring to drive around for a couple of days.
A couple of days. The GT3 Touring. Right? I hate that guy.
Yeah. So I want to try and get him on the show, but
I like
him.
I like that guy. Yeah. I hate that guy.
But he makes great content, and he's always got a great little sequence where a little beauty sequence of the car, and then he does a coffee run in it where he just drives it and talks about it. And what I love about the way Luke talks about these cars is that he doesn't come at it like a journalist. He's not jaded from comparing cars over the years. He just drives along in this thing kind of giggling like a schoolgirl the same way we all would.
Yeah. I checked out that video and I agree. It's phenomenal. I really like his style. He's got very, very good eye. The location he chose for the car, the shots that, the beauty sequence, the shots that he chose. That I really like that. I appreciate that a lot in the videos. Well, I appreciate in your videos actually as well. You have that same kind of eye and style.
Well, thank you. I've got to say, he's definitely been an influence. And every time I think I'm stepping up my game, he'll drop a new one and I go, damn it.
Well, that's what I'm like with you and now with him. So thank you for introducing me to another asshole that creates better content than I do. But man, that GT3 Touring looked so good.
Great color too.
Oh yeah, what was that? Was that the Volcano or the Volcanic Grey that's replaced Agate Grey?
Agate Grey. It sounds more exciting, doesn't it? Volcano Grey.
It does. Yeah, no, totally.
But and I like his point about it too. That on paper or on the configurator or whatever, it's not a color that necessarily would get you super excited. Yeah. And yet, seeing it in real life, it photographs beautifully. Particularly, I mean, the one advantage Luke has on the rest of us is he's in Switzerland. He's in the Swiss Alps. He's got some pretty nice backdrops against which to film. Yeah. And that car just looks incredible sat in the snow there.
I think I'd be a little scared driving that car around some of those Swiss roads.
Yeah, the snow. Same. I did think that.
Well, actually, this wasn't a YouTube video, but yesterday, my friend Michael, who is Cycle Michael on Instagram, he drives the Martini livery covered 996.
997.
He sent me a video of an Evo driving at Pikes Peak, which is where we're going. He's joining me for that Rocky Mountains trip. And this Evo has got GoPros on the front, GoPros on the back. And somebody's also standing on the side of the road taking a film. So you've got 3 different angles of this Evo going around a corner and going off the edge in Pikes Peak. And it must have rolled about 50 times conservatively. Absolutely ruined the car. Absolutely ruined the car. I bet his GoPros are screwed. I mean...
Okay, so we've talked about the condition of the car. We've talked about whether the GoPros made it out alive. The obvious question everybody's asking is, did the guy live?
No idea, but he's an Evo driver. Yeah, I don't really care. No, dude. I mean, it's hard to watch videos like that, and
Oh, but, no way.
Yeah, mate. He went over 50 times. He went down this side of a canyon, from the curb, and
well.
Oh
touche.
my god. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, that was pretty shocking. But yeah, that's Pikes Peak. So I'm now going to be thinking about that as we go driving on those rocky roads. But you see, or those mountainous roads. You see some of the roads that like Lee Sibley films in when he goes across to Europe. God, I miss driving in Europe so much. Just it's phenomenal. And some of the roads that I see in your videos are very similar as well. The narrow, the twisty, the mountainous. You got lots of vegetation around you where, I drive through the cornfields here in a straight line for 50 miles and that's the excitement I get.
Do you know what? I tell you, sometimes I could do without the vegetation because that is where, you're driving along and, I've had it happen to me. A wallaby suddenly just jumps out from behind a bush. One of the sections on our rally, which is probably my favourite section, is it's wide open. The road is actually elevated and you've just got sort of paddocks or plains on either side, then with mountains around you, and then just big sweepers and lots of turns. But you have all this visibility, and it's so confidence inspiring to just be able to see everything that's happening around you and really have such a great sense of the road. Versus, sometimes when I watch Lee's videos and he's driving those British B roads where there's like hedges up the side of each, or like really tall grass or whatever. I just think, it's like driving down the trench on the Death Star.
Yeah, pretty much. No, totally. In fact, I never used to get fazed by those roads. And then I've lived in the States for 10 years. And the last time I went back to the UK, just before the pandemic, I was in I think they gave me like some kind of Kia or a little 3 Series kind of BMW, but it was a Volvo. I was on some of those side roads, and the now American inside me was screaming going around those corners, especially when the buses or the tractors are coming at you from the other way, and you think, it's impossible. How am I going to get past that? Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah. No, I agree. But it's funny because I've never driven those kind of alpine passes that you see, in some of Lee's videos, and certainly a lot of Luke's, where it is just tight hairpin straight. I've never driven any of those kind of roads. We don't have anything like that here.
So I got a question for you. Speaking of driving, I saw, was it yesterday, Australia have decided to open up their borders for international travel for the first time in 2 years, or at least they're thinking about it. Maybe you haven't done it yet.
Unless you're the best tennis player in the world.
Right. Because, celebrities, they're just more important than regular people, right? They're more important than me and you. They're more important than everyone. If I wanted to go to Australia. I'd see my friend Jody in Perth before the pandemic, and that trip got cancelled. My question for you is, if I come to Australia, what's the likelihood of me sourcing a Porsche to drive from Melbourne to Perth? Is that? I mean, there are lots of extremely low probability variables in that statement. I have no concept of how far it is from Melbourne to Perth, other than it's probably not a day trip.
No, it's... So I thought you were going to say, what's the possibility of me meeting you and driving? And I was going to say, I'm not going to commit to anything, but perhaps. I'd use the phrase my parents always used, like, we'll see. But to get...
And I haven't even gotten to the bit where I'm going to ask you to come with me on that road trip.
No, it's days and days and days, and you drive across the desert.
Yeah,
like it's
like
just,
how many days?
I don't know. It's like 4 days, maybe 5 days. It's
really,
and, it's that thing where you need to fill up here because this is the last fuel stop for 1,000 miles, and it's just you, the kangaroos, and the road trains,
and you following me.
No.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you what got me thinking about it. I watched the Apple Plus TV show recently with Ewan McGregor and his mate that did the electric bike ride. I was like, that's going to be me and Andy, but in Porsches driving across Australia.
Well, look, if we did it with like a Lee Keen Rally 911, and you've got spare wheel on the roof and all that sort of stuff, I think that would be great. Yeah, as for somebody wanting to lend you their car to do that in, I look, you can always try.
I'm an optimist. I
don't know why I'm
Andy.
being so negative. Yeah, that's true. But is this a possibility? You really thinking about coming down?
I am. Yeah. It won't be this year, but maybe late next year, and it definitely won't be in your summer because I will catch on fire and die horribly. Gingers in your kind of climate just don't go well. No. So maybe spring or fall next year for you.
Yeah. Fall is amazing. Fall here is beautiful.
Really?
Yes, the best time. Definitely the best time. You get beautiful weather. Sunny days, cool nights. It's the best.
So is driving between Sydney and Melbourne and your neck of the woods more realistic?
Yeah, definitely. That's a 1 day proposition if you hammer straight down the highway, or a long day if you take some more interesting roads. So that's definitely doable.
All right. So what I'm hearing is I need a Hertz rental car to drive to Perth, but I'll try and figure out the 911 Sydney, Brisbane.
No, you're not hearing me right. You need flights to Perth.
Flights, yeah. But like, if I fly 20 hours to Sydney, do I really want to spend another 5 hours on a plane to Perth? I can't see it happening. Maybe I'm just gonna have to tell Jodie that our friendship it's over.
You could meet her in Adelaide. Some good driving there.
I don't know. But anyway, that's a plan. And the other one is, speaking of canyons, is I'm going to try and get out to California, maybe just before Christmas this year. Maybe.
Have you driven out there?
I have, in rental cars, not in my 911. Oh, well, my first 911 I bought in LA and drove just straight through to Vegas and home. But I've spent quite a bit of time driving in the Bay Area, and from the Bay Area down to LA, out to Riverside, and then through some of the canyons there. I'm always amazed by the roads I find there, even just by accidents. You don't really even need to know where you're going. You just pick a direction, and all of a sudden you're on these great mountain roads.
Oh, I still, one of my most epic days of driving was Angeles Crest Highway in a 991.
Yeah.
It was still one of the best roads I've ever driven. Incredible.
I'm hearing you. It's going to be tough, but I can probably do that drive from Melbourne to Perth and back, because it's not one way; it's a round trip.
Oh, it should be. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Take some water, a shotgun. And I look forward to finding my new co-host. When they find your skeleton in the desert.
Yeah, I know, totally. Well, on that bombshell, let's call it a day for this episode. But listeners, thank you very much for tuning in, and check back with us, because as we mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of guest panelists coming up. That's going to be really exciting. More videos of the week. If you follow us on Instagram, whether it's Curb and Canyon or Auto Amateur or Last Rasp, let's get some videos from you.
Yeah, love to hear your thoughts, guys, and keep the feedback coming too. We love it. We love talking to you all. So yeah, really appreciate that as well. James, you have a good week, my friend.
You too, sir. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Catch you.